So rather than always focusing on more expensive knives, sometimes I like to do a video of a less expensive knife that I find that catches my eye. Today we're going to do a video on the Albatross cool flipper knife that you can find on Amazon. I've never heard of Albatross knives, you say. Well, neither had I, but we're going to take a look at this one and see what it looks like. So, open up the box here. It's a magnetic box. Looks like we got the knife here just inside of a kind of plastic wrapper. So this is supposed to be the Damascus version of this knife. Let's take a look at what we've got here. So I'm a sucker for the Axis lock, my favorite type of lock, Axis or XR, that sliding bar type lock I really like. I'm a sucker for flippers. Any knife that has both tends to really catch my eye. So this, from what I can see, appears to be real raindrop Damascus. Got different etching patterns. I can feel the etching in there. Also, I don't know if you can see, if you look at the back of the knife here, you've got, this is kind of a Damascus San Mai. So you've got layers of Damascus on the side, and there's a solid steel core with a bit more carbon in it there. You can see it's all black. That is supposed to be, if I'm reading right, a VG10 core. So there's a $20 version of this knife that's 8CR14 MOV steel. And then this knife is supposed to have a VG10 steel core in the Damascus, which is actually much nicer steel for about $5 or $6 more. Actually, this feels pretty nice. I mean, it's got a decent but not excellent flipper action. It's pretty easy to make it fail, but it's not hard to flip it. Even, so let's see, flip it straight up here. Okay, didn't quite go, but I can make it go pretty easy. It's a bearing flipper. I'll take it apart here in a minute. It's just like an FRN handle, but it's got some nice texture to it. So my overall impressions are pretty positive. It feels really comfortable in the hand. You can see it's not a very large knife, just kind of a forefinger with no extra there. A little sharp on the back, but better than I was expecting for $26. Pocket clip. Screws aren't quite recessed there, but there should be enough space in there for it to go pretty well. Outsides are nicely beveled. Inside's a little sharp, but it's not uncomfortable. Alright, let's go ahead and take this apart and see what it looks like on the inside. So I'm going to start with the pocket clip here. Some people I saw had complaints of those screws stripping when they went to remove the pocket clip. So we will start with that. Okay, that one came out fine for me. So both of those came out fine. Looks like there isn't any thread locker on there, so they should come out okay. Start taking off the scales here. So those are T8s. Go up a size. So the handles are just the FRN. They do have that kind of plasticky feel to them. The texturing works pretty well on these, so it does feel like it gives me a bit better grip. The holes obviously give me some grip points as well. So the texture is functional. Flipper action, like I said, is pretty good. I've felt better, but I've also felt a lot worse. I can tell it's on bearings. The detent could be a little crisper, but again, for less than $30, Axis flipper Damascus steel, I won't complain too much. It works well. So this is going to be the unboxing kind of initial impressions and disassembly video, and then my plan is to post an update later once I've actually done all my sharpness testing and stuff like that, since I have not carried and used this knife yet. One side wanted to spin on me there. This side appears to be coming out just fine. So there's your pivot screw, pretty standard. Pull off a scale, you've got your axis spring kind of deal there, comes out pretty easy. And then we got to pop off everything from this side to get all that out. That's the only disadvantage of the axis lock system, is everything's got to kind of pop out together, and they're a bit difficult to reassemble. There's that one, there's a standoff. Alright, popping out the blade. Pop off that scale. There's a stop pin. It does have an external stop pin, which is nice. Axis bar. Looks pretty well machined. Looks like it's getting a pretty good purchase on the blade there from where it stops. Okay, so these bearings are a little tiny, and that's probably why the flipper action isn't smoother. I don't know how well you can see that, but the bearings, like the cages are a good size, good width on the cage, but the bearings themselves are just minuscule. Flipper action would be better if those ball bearings were larger balls there. Pretty good seat there. It's machined into the knife a little bit. It looks almost like that's a washer. Yeah, it's moving on this side. So they've put a washer. It's kind of stuck to the blade with oil, but that is a washer there. I don't know if I can get it out. That gives you a smooth surface, there we go, on the blade to pivot on rather than pivoting on the Damascus steel there. Probably just for smoothness sake. And then on the other side, it's up against the liners there. So, decent looking little knife. I'll be looking forward to putting this through my sharpness tests, edge holding tests rather. So yeah, pleasantly surprised for that price range, and hopefully helpful to you guys.